Hi guys, I'm Sophie. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm super excited to be talking about something that is kind of taboo to talk about occasionally, which is money. So I'm really excited to talk about this. One, because when I first started my business, I remember I was trying to go anywhere and everywhere to find out information about how do you start a business, how do you make money, and is it possible to have success with your own small business? Because a lot of times when you talk about how you are running a business on the side, I can't tell you how many times people have asked me, how's your little art business going? And I'm like, big dreams, not little. Anyways, so if you don't know who I am, I'm Sophie. I am the woman behind Simply Sophie Designs. I have been a freelance illustrator for a few years now, started my business out of a college dorm room, and now here we are. So basically, started back in college, was just making custom portraits, and now my business has turned into a viable income for me. And I wanted to talk a little bit about money today because it's just kind of a tricky subject to talk about, but it's really important for other creators to talk about together because that's how you learn. So I wanted to talk through really quickly today about all of the ways that I make money as a shop owner, a freelancer, all of those different things. All of this I'm going to be speaking about from an artistic lens, from an illustrator lens, but just know that a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about you can apply to, let's say, if you have a photography business, if you are a life coach or anything, any job, any small business that you can think of, there are ways that you can kind of apply these to your own business, even if you're not necessarily in a creative or artistic industry. So the first way that I make the bulk of my income with Simply Sophie Designs is through Freelance Illustration. So I tell people that I'm a freelance illustrator because one of the best ways that you can start getting exposure to potential clients is just by telling people what you do. So I do have in my Instagram bio that I am a freelance illustrator because I want people to see that, and if they like my work on my page, they can see that I'm a freelance illustrator available to work with them, and they'll reach out. That tactic alone is something that has given me the ability to have clients come to me rather than me constantly going out and seeking clients, and I'm really thankful for that. And I can also share more in another video kind of how I attract clients and what my strategies are for that, but that's just kind of a little preview of one of the things that's really important for my business strategy, is just to let people know that I am a freelance illustrator. So when I talk about being a freelance illustrator, what that means is typically what I'm doing with clients is I'm partnering with all different kinds of people. It can be brands, it can be a food company, it can be a nutritionist, it can be a fitness coach, any of those things. I've had a lot of different clients that are in a lot of different arenas, the medical field. I don't share the names of my clients, but they are all spread out into all kinds of different fields. I also have clients that, I'm doing work for their podcast, things like that. But really what I'm doing most of the time is social media illustration. So typically people come to my page, they see what I've created for my personal page and the audience that I've grown to almost 100,000 on my Instagram page, and a lot of times they want something similar for themselves. And this is a service that I provide and something that I can offer to them. So freelance illustration takes up the vast majority of my work and my time. And a lot of people ask me how I balance a full-time job with a side hustle, if you want to call it that. And really it just comes down to the fact that I love to create, so it doesn't always feel like work to me. So for me, coming home and immediately working on something for a client doesn't always feel like, oh, I'm on the clock for Simply Sophie Designs. It's something that I enjoy, and I've just found a way to monetize something that I enjoy. But obviously, work is work. There's some days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, but it is worth it because I know that this business is helping me to reach my financial goals. Before I got married, I was using my income from Simply Sophie Designs to fund my entire life, and then taking my full-time income from my current job and just putting all of that into savings. So I was getting 2 incomes, living off of the smaller one at the time, and then putting my full-time income into savings. And that, I can't tell you how beneficial that was for me. And I think that also helps to put things into perspective, that just because you might be doing something as a side hustle doesn't mean that you have to have low price points and that you're never gonna be able to make a decent amount of money with it. If you give it time and consistency, you really can grow a successful business, whether your goal is to do it full-time or not. I really enjoy having this be something on the side, so I don't have all the pressure of like, oh, I have to make sure that I'm, you know, making sales. I really enjoy knowing that I have a steady paycheck from week to week from my current job. And I love working in marketing. There are also a lot of parallels between working in a creative industry and then also doing my freelance illustration. So that's something that I really enjoy. And again, the freelance illustration is what takes up the majority of my time, and that is where I get the vast majority of my income. The next thing that I do is I am a shop owner. So if you go to simplysophiedesigns.com, you can see all of my different products, and I will be super honest with you. I have had product launches before where I sold like 3 things. That's happened at the beginning of my business, and that has happened even up to now. Truly, I cannot emphasize this enough. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. The number behind your account is not going to dictate how many sales you're going to make. I'm at the point where I have 99,000 followers, and truly there are some days where I launch things and it just doesn't hit, it doesn't stick, people don't like it, and I don't make a sale. And I just want to be really honest about that, because I think a lot of times it's really tempting as a shop owner to only post about when you have like a pile of orders that you're taking to the post office, and then I don't share about the times when the launches don't go well. So that was something I wanted to touch on, because it's really disheartening, because sometimes when you have a launch that is kind of a failure, you feel like the only person that's going through that. And if you're doing this kind of work, I just want you to know, if that happens to you, it's very normal. The shop that I have, I've got all kinds of different things in it. I've got cards, stickers, prints, all those things. But the best-selling product that I have is custom portraits. That is what my business was founded on. I started my business with custom portraits. I'm still doing them, and I love creating them, and they are a great additional income for me. So that is kind of like the second highest ticket item for me in terms of the money that I'm making. Now we're gonna be getting into some other things that it's additional income, but by no means is it something that I'm like putting into the bank like, wow, I have so much money from this one thing. These other things are just kind of things that add up over time. And one of those for me is paid collaborations. The reason why I say that I'm not getting huge checks from that is just because I don't do them very often. I feel like I'm still learning how to do those things and how to sell things in a way that feels authentic, because I'm like, I don't want to say yes to a bunch of paid collaborations and then sell products that like I don't even use. So I don't do paid collaborations a lot, so therefore it's not a huge chunk of my income, but I will say I've definitely gotten some checks from that before that I was like very happy with. But a lot of brands out there are pushing for like, oh, here's free product. And I'll be honest, there are times where I'm like, I want to try that product, so I'll take it. And that happens, but really, I really try to only take collaborations that are paid and collaborations that I actually feel good about. Like, I'm not gonna take a collaboration, even if it's paid, if it's for something that I wouldn't use or don't like, I'm not gonna do it. It's just not worth the money, because it's not worth breaking trust with people that follow you and expect you to be honest and authentic. The next thing that I do to earn money with my business, this is a very small amount of money, but I'm not sure what the criteria is to meet this, but in the past year, I've gotten notified by Instagram that I've qualified to actually start making money on IGTV videos. So anytime I post an IGTV video, I can earn money on that just because of the people that are reviewing it. But I will say, like, it's not that much. I mean, truly, like, it, to me, and maybe I just haven't cracked the code, but to me, I'm like, I don't even know if this is worth it. but it's another piece of income for me, and it's something that if I utilized more, I probably could make some more money from it. Again, I'm not really sure what the criteria is for that, but I just want to let y'all know, if you haven't heard about that, that is a thing. There are people that get paid from posting IGTV videos, and the viewership kind of depends on, the money that they'll make depends on the viewership of those videos. And then lastly, the other thing, I'm gonna close my book here. The last thing that I make money from is just from people using my discount codes. I really don't do those very often, again, for the same reasons that I just explained about why I don't always do paid collaborations. But I do have a long-standing relationship with a particular brand that I use. I mean, I use their products all the time, and the only reason why I have a discount code with them is just because I always post about how helpful their product is for me. And so we're just like, well, this seems to interest people in my audience, why not just give them a discount code? So I get a very small cut of the purchases that are made from that company with the discount code that I give. So these are many different just facets of the business, and kind of some ideas for how to diversify your income, and just being able to create other avenues of revenue, I think is really important in any business. So just some ideas. There's definitely more ways than just the ones I listed to make money with your business, but this is a start. So I just wanted to share these things and just be very, you know, as transparent about it as possible. But those are just all the ways that I have been learning how to make an income as an illustrator. I'm still new to the game, I feel like. I mean, I've been doing this for a few years, but I have a lot to learn. So this is just what I've learned so far, and I look forward to sharing more with you as I continue to learn. And I hope that this video was helpful for you. So thank you so much if you made it this far. I really appreciate you watching, if anybody's still watching. But anyways, that's all for me, and I'll see you next time.